This is a great time of year to focus on renewal, which is our focus area of the month. And let's talk about it. I'm Kathy Zering, intuitive coach at Energy Rapport. Welcome to 2024 and to the Energy Focus video for January. This month, I'd like you to focus your energy on renewal, as I said. So renewal is about giving life to something new. And you're probably already feeling this renewal energy in the air, especially this time of year. You know, there's lots of excitement around New Year's resolutions or intentions or goals, whatever you call them. People are setting goals. They're writing letters to their future selves with all their goals and intentions for the year. They're selecting a word of the year, creating vision boards, you name it. So all these activities that bring focus to your goals, aspirations, and hopes for the upcoming year are definitely happening right now. And you're probably, like I said, if you're not already doing them, you may be in the middle of doing them, maybe you don't even do it. But it is something that I'm going to focus on in this video because it ties right in with the renewal energy that we're talking about. So again, have you done any of these things? Maybe you're in the middle of doing them right now. Either way, as you progress through it, why don't you consider some of these questions when it comes to renewal energy that you may not have thought about in setting up your intentions for the year. So think about, maybe something in your life that's no longer working that needs to be replaced. Or maybe there's a relationship with someone or something that needs more of your time and attention. Maybe you haven't been in touch with somebody for a few months and they've been on your mind. So that's part of it. Or it could be a relationship that drains your energy and that needs less of your time and attention because it really takes away from, how you want to feel when you meet with that person. Also, another question too is what can you give fresh life to so that you're aligning your goals and intentions to the upcoming months? And that could be so many different things, so many different activities. So before you answer any of these kind of self-reflective coaching questions, is what I like to call them, you want to begin by taking the time to pause, observe, and breathe. You want to make sure you're in the right mindset, you're in the right heart space, and come from that place that is more aligned with exactly where you want to go, where you're heading. It's also a good practice to intentionally take this pause before any action, to ensure that you're acting from that place of inspiration and from a place of alignment. I like to call it checking in with yourself or checking in with your intuition, your wise inner self. It's a great practice to have with a lot of decisions that you're making and choices that you make every day. So as an example, have you ever, felt stalled or stuck and you're trying to use constant action to push through? And, you probably already know that that's not going to help you get to where you want to go. There's a lot of people that's the approach they use. That's the approach I used when I worked in corporate. And I just figured, I'm just going to push through this, all this overwork, all this overstress, and it'll get better someday. It'll be better next week. And you know what? Pushing through it doesn't work. So that is exactly what led to my burnout when I worked in corporate. So a better option would be to pause, take a few deep breaths. It's amazing what an impact the breath has on your nervous system. So take a few deep breaths, get in that more relaxed, receptive state, and you want to observe what's happening around you. As far as, talking about renewal here, you want to jot down maybe your thoughts or make a short list of areas that might need a refresh, to help you get unstuck. Also, some more questions that you may want to answer as you're in that state is what's not working anymore? Another one is what feels stuck and, a different approach might help. And also, what is my next best step? That's a great one because, a lot of people, they have sometimes these huge goals and really you need to kind of get back down to earth and keep it small and attainable to begin with, right? And just think about, okay, what's my next step? What's my next step? And to add that word best in there is really helpful because you want to make sure you're taking the next best step, not just some random step. And that's why it makes sense to get into that pause, observe, taking the breath and getting in that better aligned place. Another question you could ask yourself is, do I need more info before I proceed? Maybe you don't have enough information yet, and that's what's stalling you out. Another good question is it best to let this temporarily go, and shift my focus to something else? So instead of just sitting there, like I said, trying to push through it, analysis paralysis or stewing over something, maybe just set it aside purposely and say, I'm not going to look at this for a day, and see what happens. Maybe something will happen and you'll come back refreshed and with an answer. Or, it may just be something that doesn't need your attention right now. So here's a good example. Let's say you have a strained relationship with someone that you work with. You're at the point where you avoid him at all costs. Um, and just seeing him creates like a stress response in your body. Believe me, I've been there. I think anybody that's probably had, at least, a few years under their belt in the workforce, has had these kind of relationships at work. So it's really not healthy. It's if it's causing a stress response in your body, that's something that is going to wear you down. It's not healthy, it bothers you, and you want to change it. So some questions, especially around this renewal energy, is how can you put some fresh energy into this relationship? What can you do to create a new reality where you both feel calm, where you're going to feel calm around this coworker, and you could find a better, less stressful way to work together. It might just be going out to lunch together, right? And having or even a virtual coffee, like, 20-minute call, and get to know them more on a personal level. That could be the turning point for you. So as you give yourself the time to reflect on these kind of questions, these kind of, and really stay open to like new ideas and answers that come, you'll be amazed at what can come through, and, different opportunities and different things for you to try to get to the resolution that you're looking for. So a couple of important reminders when you're doing this kind of work, you want to first off be very mindful that renewal is about growth and about becoming a new person. And as you all know, as we're growing and becoming a new person, it could feel uncomfortable at times. It's scary. You could feel very vulnerable at times. So you want to have compassion for yourself as you grow into this new, better version of yourself. When it feels too hard, just trust the process and remember that it's a temporary part of the process, part of your journey. And a good mantra to have is, this too shall pass, especially when you're in the thick of things and it's looking bleak. Always know that everything is temporary and this too shall pass. Another part of this process too of renewal is removing the old, right? So you could think of it as like shedding your old skin, like a snake sheds their old skin when it's no longer needed. Um, you want to know that you have to release the old and helpful things, right, in order to make room and be able to receive that new stuff that you want to welcome into your life. So if you're like many of my clients, you've probably already been releasing a lot these past few months. There's been a lot of releasing I've noticed, with myself as well. And the most important thing to do is to remember not to keep scraping away at the skin that's being shed. So if you're working on something and you're making progress in like small bites and bits, you want to just make sure that you let go of that old skin and shift your focus to the new that's starting to grow. And as you shift your focus to the new that's coming in, that's where you start getting even more excited. And that's where the momentum builds, and that kind of continues you on that path and that creation energy, right? To keep moving forward and appreciate those small wins at every step and at every stage. So hopefully all this is helping. I hope you decide to feel into this renewal energy over the next few weeks, and ask yourself these questions that I posed earlier and get quiet, be open to hearing the answers. Your intuition and that inner wise self of yours is a powerful partner, powerful ally to have in your corner. And in my opinion, we don't use that part of ourselves enough, right? So make sure that you're using this powerful ally to help you make the best decisions for your greater good. And really, when you focus on your greater good, it's also helping others around you. So enjoy the process and your results. And as you start to feel better and maybe get some insight from doing these renewal energy activities, come back to like this page, wherever you're watching this video, and please share your progress in a comment below so that others can get inspiration from the progress that you're making. Or maybe share a tip or something that worked really well for you, and that might help somebody else that's struggling or feeling stuck. So thanks for watching. Much love to you, and we'll see you again in a future video. Bye-bye.